I have two panels. These two panels were made on the Addy 46 pin, and then I used 145 rows for each panel. Now, there's so many things you can do with this, and right now my brain is going crazy because typically I would just make a cardigan, and that's what I was anticipating. I was gonna just finish the neckline and then go down the front and then put in some buttons and then add my sleeves and finish the bottom, and I was just gonna have a really cute cropped oversized cardigan. However, as we're getting into the colder months, I thought, wow, wouldn't it be great if I just had on had a pullover that I could just throw on, which would be super cute. So I think I'm pivoting to a pullover. I haven't made my final decision, but that's okay because my next step is to make my sleeves. Now you may also notice, because I use the full 46 pins, this is rather large, and it is going to be, as I mentioned, oversized for me. I'm about a size 2, a size small. So for me, it's going to have that really loose fit, which I enjoy. I also like it cropped. I like it to be a little high-low, so a little bit higher in the front, lower in the back, and so I can tuck it in to like a pair of jeans. So anyway, that is where I am. And now I'm going to decide what color sleeves to make because I don't know. I love mixing patterns together, and initially I had planned on, pan over here, using this big twist turquoise, which I love, but I might just use this for the finishes because, pan over here, this is actually a dropped stitch scarf that I keep down here. When I'm cold, I just throw it on. But I love the idea of mixing patterns and putting like this black and white as the sleeves, and then using this to kind of finish the neckline and the bottom. But we'll see. I'm going to make 2 samples and we'll decide from there. But if you're working with a circular knitting machine, these projects, I mean, you can really get as creative as you want. I like to work with panels because it's a little bit more control, but you could also just make tubes. They would obviously be a lot skinnier, and you would probably have to use more than that and then just use mattress stitching to attach them. But there's so many possibilities with your circular knitting machine. Here is the sleeve sample I made. I was gonna make another in the turquoise color, but I think I just really love this. I love when you have different patterns together, and I think once this is on, it's gonna be great. And where I'm leaning, let me tell you what I'm leaning towards, is making this a pullover and then using this same like black and white yarn here, and then doing like a little, I don't know, collar, like a stitched in collar that would give it some details. We'll see about that, but I think so far we did 45. This is 45 rows because I didn't need a lot of difference because the drop shoulder is so intense. So I did about 45 for my length. And then I think I mentioned, but for each of these panels, I ended up doing 145. Oh, and I'm totally lying. I did 55 for this. And so I'll do another one of these with 55. And this is on tube, and these are on panel. I love using tube for sleeves. It just makes it so much easier. And then of course I will do the band around the bottom to tie it all together. And I might come back and do turquoise at the very bottom band to match the band here. Okay, just taking you along for the journey. So I'm at the point where I'm now going to, I have both of my sleeves right here. But before I go any further, I'm not going to do any finishes yet. I am just going to use what I have a little bit left of, one of the skeins. By the way, this took 2 skeins to make these 2 panels. So if you are going to be making like a sweater like this, I would just pick up like 4 skeins, depending on what size you're looking for, just to be safe, because you don't want to run out of the right color lot, and especially if you love it, it might be out of your store. So I only have this much left, and I'm going to use this to do my mattress stitches. And so I am just going to do a mattress stitch up the back. Okay, I haven't really, I've measured it on the mannequin, but I'm going to do this mattress stitch up the back. I'm not going to tie it off. I'm just going to use a stitch marker because then I have to put it on and make sure my head will fit through the hole, and then I can do the rest. So I can go through down the front. And after I do that, the next step will be to stitch the sleeves on, and then down the sides on this side, and stitch the sleeves on and down the end on this side. And then I'll do the finishes, I think, where I'll go around the bottom and around the sleeves as well. So that is what we're working on right now. So let's do some mattress stitching. All right, now I want to give you a little bit of a pointer because I've had this question in the past a few times. So number one, the question that I have heard a number of times was, how do you mattress stitch panels together? So when you work with panels, you're going to find that a lot of times here on the ends, your loops are going to be uneven. They may not be perfect. So you don't actually want to use the outside stitches for mattress stitching when you're doing circular knitting machine panels. If you do, it'll be wonky and it won't look clean. So instead, I actually opt for the row that's right next to it. So you can see here, this row of stitches here is what I'm going to be using. And then I'm doing the same thing on the other side. Instead of using that first row of stitches, I'm going for the second. And if you do it correctly, your mattress stitches, let me show you here, will look as seamless as this. This is how, my friends, this is how mattress stitches should look, seamless. So even though I'm using two panels right here with different colors, it looks totally intentional because of the seam. And then on the inside, you may be wondering, well, how does that make the sweater look? Well, it looks just like this. And you probably have some, well, you may have some factory sweaters that are made with using a sewing machine and stitching your panels together if you're getting anything that's like factory knitted pieces. So anyway, that's that little tip for you. And I'm going to keep going with my mattress stitches. So here is the first try on. I have my overalls on under here. Here, so I have it just pinned. This is with a stitch marker here, and I did take it off, so my hair is like crazy. I did take it off and on just to make sure it is going to have enough stretch. Also, once you finish the neckline, it is something you'll need to take into consideration. I will do a single crochet around the neck just to make sure I still have the stretch. If you do a slip stitch, what's going to happen is it'll tighten up. It won't be good. So this is how it is now. Once I add the sleeves, it'll make it a lot longer. But once I seam this, I don't know. I was playing around with design and I pulled this side and this side forward. And I really love what it's doing here. I think that it just like ties in those colors so nicely. And I might do something fun like this. And I may not even add the sleeves. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, this is how my brain goes. I'm like, I'm gonna sleep on it tonight before making the final decision. But I love these colors. It's starting out so great. Today's update. And yes, I am still wearing the same sweater for the third day in a row. It is a cardi though, so it's on top of other things. Anyway, I digress. And plus I'm using it as inspiration. So what I ended up doing, a little different than I was thinking yesterday. So yesterday I had mentioned I might do it like a little wrap top. I slept on it and realized one of the things that I'm trying to get better at is making things or buying things, you know, at the thrift store that I will actually wear more than one time. And as a wrap top, I would wear it once for like an event or a picture or something, and then it wouldn't be comfortable to wear all the time. But I am constantly wearing long sleeves. So I'm going to continue on the path of the pullover. But what I'm doing right now is I'm actually finishing the bottom with that same black and white yarn. I'm doing a crochet finish all the way around, and then I'm decreasing. And what the decreasing does with crochet is that it actually will cinch it all together. And obviously I'm not going to make it super tight, but I'm going to make it so that it does have that you can kind of see how it's curving in, and it's going to give me a much better shape. So I'm not quite sure how many rows I'm going to do. I have enough yarn that I could actually do like 3 inches, which I kind of like because this is a little shorter than I wanted. I want it to be able to tuck into the top of like my jeans. That's how I enjoy doing it. So I might try to make this like 3 inches. I still need to put in the sleeves, and I still need to finish the sides. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the crochet finish around the neckline to get it more of that rounded look, and then decide what I'm going to do from there. So that is where we are here currently, making progress. Okay, Bill just came down to get me because it is time for me to wrap it up. He's an amazing partner and makes sure that I take care of myself, and I need to go eat dinner. But I wanted to show you the progress so far. I just got heads down on this, and this is what I ended up doing. So we did a few decrease rounds. Okay, this is a little too close. Let me see. I did a few decrease rounds around the bottom, which now makes it fit really well. So it's kind of, it's hanging well on the body, and I think once it washes it, or if I steam block it, I haven't decided yet. I'll probably wash it first though. And then it should sit really nicely. And then up here I ended up doing, I think, just 4 or 3 rows, and it kind of looks like I'm wearing a little t-shirt on the inside with the same color, which is cool. I did leave a big chunk of yarn right here because I do think I want to make it a little bit higher. I really like a higher neckline, and originally my thought was that I was going to make it into this like little collar. I haven't ruled that out, but it kind of just looks like a little sweatshirt, so I don't know if I want to go that. I don't know if I'm gonna like that. I'm just letting the yarn speak to me. But the sleeve, oh, look at this. This is a perfect mattress stitch on the sleeves. I did something different this time, and I actually did a mattress stitch on the right sides, which is what I typically do when I'm doing mattress stitches. And I don't know why I just wasn't doing that before. So I did that, and I love it. So I'm gonna tomorrow, I'm gonna add the second sleeve, finish at least 1 or 2 more rounds of single crochet on the neckline. I may do at least 1. I have to try this on with my favorite high-rise jeans and just see if I need to do 1 or 2 more rows here. And then I'm gonna finish this sleeve because I don't like the bell. I definitely want it to be more cinched in, and I'm gonna use the turquoise down here to create my band. Maybe I'll do a fun little band. I don't know. So anyway, this is where we are. Stay tuned. There's more to come. And then we'll have the finished project. Oh my gosh. I would buy this. If I was at a store and I saw this, obviously not like this, but if it was finished, I would spend money on it. And that is a great sign. Now I wanted to give you a look at my process. So again, this is another day. I'm not sure how many days this has been now. 3 days? Because I only typically am able to work on this after work. But today is Friday, so I have a little extra time, and I'm going live tonight on YouTube. And so I kind of wanted to try to get this done so I could wear it, but if not, no big deal. So what I wanted to show you is I added this sleeve over here, and then I did use a mattress stitch from the right side. So it's really secure in there. Now, to make sure that this is aligned this sleeve is aligned over here, easiest way to do that, I'm just going to turn it or fold it in half and make sure that it is perfectly in half with seams both in the front and the back. So we just want this to mirror, there we go, the sides. Just like so. Now, the reason I'm doing that is to make sure that the sleeve is inset the same way, because I don't have any shoulder seams and I haven't done anything on this side. It would be really easy to accidentally like put it together incorrectly, and then your sleeves would be off, and we don't want that to happen. So I love stitch markers. They are one of my favorite tools. Super simple. You can use bobby pins in a pinch. Okay, so here we go. We're going to pull that all the way over. Same with this one. Going to flatten it out. Typically I steam my panels before I put them together, but I was in such a hurry with this project, I did not do that. So it's making it a little bit more challenging. But if you steam these edges right here, they actually lay a lot flatter, way easier, way easier to mattress stitch, but do as I say, not as I do. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm just making sure so that and this, that these are the same size armhole. Okay, so this right here and this right here be one up. Just want them to be perfectly matched. So that's flat and that's over. Okay, that looks great to me. So now I'm gonna take my sleeve. Again, I haven't finished the bottoms yet. I will be finishing this bottom. And I'm pretty sure, I think I'm 98% sure that I'm just gonna use this turquoise. It really complements this, so it looks intentional. I wish I had this color. This is like, what's that? This color right here is like gorgeous. Oh, if I could find, I had one that was similar, but I ran out of it. So I'm either using this or if I can find this one. Anyway, what I was saying, so I've already done a single crochet to finish this end, and this is the end that I'm going to be connecting. And so we are going to align this here, just like this. And we do want to make sure that fits there. So now I'm just going to do a mattress stitch all the way around. So I'm going to start here where it's connected, okay? And then I'm going to go around the circle in a mattress stitch. And when I get back to this side, then I'm just going to mattress stitch the sides together all the way down. So then that way we have a completed or connected sweater there on the top. After we do that, it's just going to be the finishes. I've been actually tucking a lot of my yarn tails as I've gone just to make the process a lot faster. So the finishes, I still haven't quite decided if I want to go one more round on this neckline, but I'll put it all on once the sleeves are on and just get a better fit. And I might actually do one more row down here. I think that I originally said I was thinking of doing like 2 or 3 inches. This is, I would say, 1.5 inches. But I might go 1 or 2 more rows just to give it a little bit more length, but I'm going to try it on with a pair of high-rise jeans and just, again, that's the coolest thing about making your own clothes, folks, is that we can adjust it to fit our bodies perfectly. So it's just such a cool thing to be able to, customize it so that you get what you like, because not everyone likes a crop, right? And everyone has different torso sizes and different shapes, and that is great and it's beautiful. But we want our clothes to feel like they were made for us, or that they enhance our beauty. All right, so now my sleeve has been kind of placed right here. It'll make it a lot easier to mattress stitch this on correctly. Turn this over. Get it so you can see what I'm doing here. All right, so this was the yarn tail. So I'm going to use my little curved darning needle, which is so important. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pick up on each side. Okay, so this is the yarn's attached to this one. So we're going to pick up a loop on the other side and just pull it through just to get that initial connection. So now for the mattress stitch, now this isn't going to be perfect because these stitches right here, again, they're not the same stitch as this. So this is knit or knitted, and this is crocheted. So it's a little different, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in here. Okay, so see what I'm doing. In fact, that one's up a little too high. And there's a loop under here. There's a loop under there. So I'm gonna pick up that loop on this side. And then I'm gonna come over here, and then I'm gonna pick up 2. Okay, so I like to do 2 or 1. In fact, actually I'm gonna do 1 right here just to make sure that I have a really secure connection at the bottom. And then we're going to come back over here. I'm trying to do this awkwardly so you can see it. And again, we're going to go through there, pick that up. Gosh, yarn tails everywhere. Okay. And then we're going to come back through here. And now I am going to pick up 2 since I've made that original or that initial. I'm actually a little too far over. I want to pick up these. Okay, so this I do want to show you because I want to make sure that you see my whole process. So I'm currently picking up loops on the, this is the outer edge over here that was on the panel. It's pretty consistent. So, you know, if it was perfect, I could use this to attach it. But what I want is this second row, and I'm accidentally going through the third row. So with yarn, really easy, we're just going to pull it out and we're going to go again. Now, I don't think it would make such a big difference, but I want it to be exactly like the other side. And again, I just want to show you what the inside of the sleeve looks like. So here is what the inside, and oh, that's just the knit. I'm like, oh, don't tell me there's a hole. So let me show you the inside. So it does this. There's a little, you know, there's a little rim here where the 2 sides come together, but it's not like giant. It's just this little rim, just like we have when we did the mattress stitches here in the front and the back. But you know, that's not going to bother me. It's not sharp. It's not knotted or anything like that. So we just want this side to mirror, just to have the same thing. So now I'm going to come back this side and I'm going to pick it up. And then again, pick up that first loop. And then because this side is thicker, I may not, I think I'm only picking up 1, but this is why having those stitch markers is so important, because if I get close to here and I can see that there's a lot left over here, I can adjust it. I'm not doing stitch for stitch because they're 2 different stitches. So it's good to just have some flexibility. Okay. So I picked up those 2. And then we're going to come back through here and pick up that 1. Now what you'll start to see, now is to leave a little bit bigger loop here. So it's doing dee 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 dee. That's what it's doing. That is our mattress stitch. Now, there are a number of ways you can do this. Again, I'm not going to spend too much time walking you through the perfect mattress stitches. There are a lot of great tutorials out there. But one little tip I will say is I always like to end on the right when I'm tightening. And then I want to keep this loop out because that'll remind me where I was on the side that I ended on. So I'm just going to give this a tug and tighten it up. And pull it until it won't pull anymore. So now we have our secure join right there. We can pull that just a little bit and then come back over. And again, we're going to go under. So this is a better look. Those are our 2 little loops we're picking up. And we're going to come back over here. And pick that up. And like I said, we'll just continue doing this all the way around, adjusting as necessary. Like for this one, I think I'm just going to pick up 1 loop just to get it to be a little more even. Pull it. So I do like to pull it as I go every, like, I don't know, 5 stitches or so. Look how it comes together. Okay, I'm going to continue all the way around, and then like I said, once we get back here, I'll actually show you how I did the mattress stitch here. It's the same process I used to join here as well, but I will show you that a little bit more clearly so you can see that process. All right, well, I just finished the sleeve, and as promised, I wanted to show you how I'm going to connect the sides here with a mattress stitch as well. So let me find... I hear it. Okay, here's our sleeve, right? We connected the sleeve all the way around here, making sure everything looks the way you want before we go further. Yes, that looks great. Okay. Now, when you're actually knitting together or grafting together, what is this? Oh, I still have yarn. Oh, I'm a mess. So I've already stitched the bottom of the sleeve together right here. And now we're going to start our mattress stitches. Now, one of the keys to successful mattress stitches is make sure that your V's are going the same direction. Now, remember, these are panels. And so with panels, that very inside edge here, if they're consistent. So in this case, if I were to look at this, I would say this is pretty consistent all the way around. I don't have any like really super long loops or anything like that. But just to make sure it's consistent, I'm actually not going to go with the first row. I'm going to start with that second row, right? So we're going to pick up one loop here. And then on the other side, again, making sure our V's are going the same direction, as I mentioned. So right now, the V's are facing my right hand. Now, I will say that is important in many cases, but this actually may not have an impact. So I'm just going to pick up a loop on this side. Just make sure my needle's not going through there. And then I'm just going to give that a tug just to, again, reinforce that. So we're going to go back to our other side. Again, second set of stitches, and we're going to pick up 2. Don't pull it tightly. I'm going to go back over here, pick up 2 loops. Back over here, 1, 2. And again, just like we did before, we need to make sure that all of this is going to line up. So in fact, before I go any further, what I'm going to do is grab those lovely stitch markers, and I am just going to flatten this out. Yeah, because already I can tell this side has a little bit more than this side, which does make sense because I made this sweater higher in the front and lower in the back. So it's gonna be a little bit shifty, but we can do that by picking up additional loops. So if you find this happens, it does happen, I'm gonna pick up 2 loops on the right side over here. If I can get my yarn. Okay, but if I'm going to give it a gentle tug, you'll see there's still bulk over here. So what I need to do is pick up more loops on this side than this side. So let's go ahead and pick up 2, and then I'm going to tighten it just to see where we actually are. So let's give it a nice tug, make sure that we're secure. Yep. And again, a little looser on this side. So let's do this. We'll just adjust. We'll pick up 1 loop on this side. And then we'll pick up 2 over here. And I think that should be all the adjusting we need to get it to line up. Okay. Okay, so let's tighten it again and see where we are. Okay, so we're getting that nice, gorgeous mattress stitch seam right here where everything looks like it's intentional. Love it. And there's still a little, like 1 more stitch, I think, on the other side. So we'll pick up 1. And 2. Now this should give us a nice, even playing field. So now I can just go back to picking up 2 on each side.
It's really a personal preference, depending on how thick you want your seams to be. Tug there. Oh, look how pretty. Again, let's double check where we are. Everything is laying pretty flat and even. So I'm just going to continue. I'll probably have to pick up just a few more on this side just to make sure that it lays correctly. And then I'm just going to stitch all the way down to here, and then I'll tie it off and then hide the yarn tail. Yeah, we're almost done with this, folks. We're almost done. Okay, almost forgot to record how I'm going to finish the sleeves, and I thought you might want to see that. So here we are. This is the end of the sleeve. It's a bell sleeve right now, and you could absolutely just leave it as a bell sleeve. You could just pick up the loops from here with the same yarn tail and then tie it off, and you'd have this really cute like rolled bell sleeve. So that's an option there, especially if you're not into crochet. But I want something a little different because I like to have my sweaters be able to be pushed up. So while I'm crafting, I can get them out of the way. So let me show you what the finished, because I had to figure out what pattern I was going to do. Just had to work with it. So what I did here on the sleeve, you'll see it kind of looks, you know, a little bit smaller, and that's because I used what is called a decrease stitch in crochet. It's not actually a stitch, it's just a technique, decreasing. But the pattern that I used is I did a slip stitch around to pick up the loops, and then I did a single crochet. And so I ended up doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I did 6 rows total. And so it was slip stitch, single crochet, then a single crochet for 3 stitches, and then a decrease all the way around. Then I repeated that on the next round, and then I did another round with decreases. And then I did the last row flipped. So you get this kind of really cool detail here, and just did a single crochet. All right, folks, so I tried her on. Oh my gosh, this is going to be one of my favorite items that I've ever made. So I did decide I'm going to do 1 more row of single crochet on the bottom. It skims the top of my highest high-rise pants. Yeah, I don't want to show skin. I just love a crop. So I'm just going to do the single crochet, and stay tuned because the big reveal will be next. Yay! Okay, so here's the big reveal. I just finished doing our first live for Knitting Machine Basics, getting started with your knitting machine. It was so awesome. Thank you everyone for joining. You really made it fun, and I really appreciated it. And I got to wear my sweater, and I'm so happy. So this is how she turned out. She's the perfect crop. In fact, see if I leave that in. Okay, here we go. You may not see my head, but so this is how she turned out. I love the shape. This is exactly the shape that I love wearing. High-low, so you've got the high in the back, and then it sits lower here, or sorry, high in the front, it sits lower in the back. And it's like the perfect height. So I'm still modest. I'm not showing a lot of skin, but what do you think? Let me know what you think in the comments. Sorry, I just involuntary giggle because I'm so proud of this piece right here. I still kind of have this idea to make the collar a little bit more pronounced, but for now, this is the way she is. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. You can also see my Etsy shop with the link down below if you want to support the channel in that way as well. So that is it, everybody. Until next time.